Hi, Winchester. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to see you. Thank you for. You were on the audio podcast a while ago. How long ago
I
was that?
was. Just a couple months now.
Okay, all right. And we had one of your tracks that we featured for a month or so. Nice track.
Thank you.
And now you're back with a video, yeah?
I'm glad to be back. Yes, worked on a new track and supporting video, and this was maybe one of the more ambitious videos that we shot. So I'm pretty glad to have it out there finally.
I think we talked a little bit about this video. It was sort of in the works
That's right.
when you were on the show before. Why don't you just kind of repeat the story a little bit about this? It's called
Absolutely.
My Super 8.
That's right. So
Okay.
it's inspired a bit by quarantine, where before we were able to travel a bit more and get more scenic locations for video shoot material. Here we thought, let's just take a page from old school filmmaking and do a lot of miniature models, and we'll use an old camera, digitize that, and go ahead and do everything that we can do straight in the studio. And we'll go ahead and send ourselves to space as part of it. And on paper, this seemed like this was going to be pretty straightforward and simple. And in practice, we we learned to appreciate what some of those old school special effects people actually had to go through because this entire shoot was fraught with a bit of trouble from the moment that the very first camera that we shot with died 45 seconds into its use after a 30-year lifespan. And we replaced it with one we purchased online, also broken. Replaced it again, still broken. So we went with the digital camera for the majority of the footage, but still weaving it all together was quite a feat.
So, what does it cost to buy an old Super 8 camera these days? I assume you can get them on eBay.
Yeah,
People are
so did
selling
I.
them.
So what we discovered is that anywhere between 30 and $70 will get you a Super 8 camera, and it is very likely to not be working. If you want one that's been reconditioned, you're looking more like $300, and if you want one that's going to be very good, those things go closer to $1,000.
Really?
So, yeah, well, here we thought we'd take the old family Super 8 camera and shoot with it. It had 45 minutes of life in it, and well, we're glad for it, but we'll remember it fondly.
Well, good. $1,000. That's more than they ever cost when they were new.
Yeah, well, and the film itself and the production and scanning of it, is close to 100 by itself. So it was already going to be from our working budget a bit more than what we normally invest into the videos just getting out of the gate. And as we trudged along and became ever more committed, um, we started to realize how those big budget Hollywood space movies start to skyrocket their production budgets.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the budget of Star Wars or any of that, they're up $200 million plus now.
Yeah,
You know,
we came to
very,
appreciate that quite a bit.
yeah. Um, the Super 8, you didn't have any trouble finding film for that?
There's actually people now who specialize in offering the film and scanning service for it. So, that was actually easier said, and it was just kind of the tail end that was the problem getting done.
Okay, so you shoot the film, they'll take
Mhm.
it, they'll process it,
That's
and
right.
they'll convert it to digital
hmm
file?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, well,
So that's pretty convenient. If you have a
that
working
is.
camera, much better still.
I'm sorry to be such a technical geek, but that's just the nature of my brain. Um, Super 8 cameras, did they run on batteries or how did they
That's right.
work?
It
Yeah?
was batteries, and the output has a really nice color, and it has that sort of old school um, family video sort of feel to it. It's not quite VHS, and it's certainly not CinemaScope. So it's this kind of mid ground that we really wanted to be able to capture, but they were most of them were made with a plastic flywheel in the middle. So the thing that was breaking all of it wasn't the motor, it wasn't the lens, it was that plastic flywheel. It would break and then it wouldn't advance the film. So
Okay. Yeah, film has a, I don't know, I always equate film to vinyl records,
Hmm.
music. You know, it just has a warm look about it, where vinyl has a very warm sound about it.
Yes, that's true. And we like that.
Digitizing digitizing things tends to kind of sterilize the look a little bit.
It can. I think that from the film itself, you're really picking up the artifacts and the color more. So yeah, I think the experience of even the light flicker of something in a theater is maybe different. Most of the theaters you go to now are digital projection.
Yeah.
So, yes, there's certainly some aesthetic to it, and we were looking to capture what could remain post-digitization. And I think the bits that we were able to throw in, we did get the footage back of our 45 seconds and borrowed about 5 of that. We're going to save the other 40 for a future video. And we had some other Super 8 footage that we'd previously digitized. We grabbed some of the artifacts from to be able to kind of cook in there to give you the feel of it. And we were glad to be able to use it. But yeah, it was a little bit more than we thought going in. On paper, it was a terrific design.
Okay, let's take a look at it now, so then we can talk about it.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so this is Winchester 7 and the Runners and my Super 8. Wow, super. I like that. Super 8, yeah? Wonderful.
Thank you.
Some of that footage, was that the Apollo 11 splashdown, or
I
what
believe
did
so.
you use? Yeah?
Yeah. We had some pretty good plans in the design to, use model rockets and some close-up photography tricks to be able to make our own actual launch. But after some of the production problems with the cameras, we eventually settled on some stock footage, and I believe that was. So it worked out pretty good for that part.
Well, it matched, actually, because
did.
that was on film, although I suspect that was 16 millimeter.
Probably.
But yeah, that was just news footage from the aircraft carrier out in the
That's right.
ocean. I remember that, actually. I was, how old was I? I was about 7 years old. I watched it
Oh
with
yeah,
my father. Yeah,
cool.
we watched it live. So what else is going on? What, you got this video out now. How long's it been out?
Just came out yesterday, in fact.
Oh,
So,
so we're kind of
you know,
premiering it. Oh, well, good.
yes, more of a
Okay.
premiere. I'm kind of excited to have the opportunity to do this. Glad it came together real quick. And as after being through a lot of editing, trying to get it right and get the different pieces together, we're taking a breath for a second and heading into some reshoots for a follow-up later this weekend that we'll hope to release before Halloween.
Okay. Now I kind of forget what we talked about in the last interview, but is you're kind of a virtual band? I mean, you're not all together, or you are all together?
Well, lately, due to quarantine, everybody hasn't been able to get back together, so we're doing a lot of green screen and this one for the group shot. I tried my hand at rotoscoping, so it give you that weird edge effect. Um,
Okay, I
but
don't know
we're
what
hoping to be back
rotoscope.
together soon.
Tell me what that is. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you kind of trace the outline of the individual figures when they're not against a green screen. And the software that we use, Adobe After Effects, it's supposed to be pretty easy to do because it's got some intelligent stitching for that. And we learned is to try to do about 7 seconds of the group together. It's easier to green screen it. So maybe next time.
So you actually draw the person onto the print, to the picture?
Yeah, you trace the outline of the person and their setting, and it lets you cut them out, overlay it on top of something else.
Oh, okay.
So
I
where
see.
like the green screen, you would just drop the green and put them on top. This one,
Yeah.
you're actually tracing the outline, and across time, you're making those small cuts across about 7 seconds of footage. That edge starts to artifact itself, and you get a little bit of a wavy line to it.
Is that the point?
Well, we certainly took advantage of it. I don't know if it was desired going in.
Well, what I mean is, what would be the benefit to doing that rather than just green screening?
Well, in concept, the idea is, well, you can shoot them wherever they are without having to do the green screen, and you can grab in a bunch of different environments in this way. And,
Oh, okay. All right.
you know, we kind of bought into that idea and gave it a go, and that took longer than almost anything else. 7 seconds.
It's amazing what you find out when you start doing things like this, you
Yeah,
know?
I'm sure there's people who are a lot better at it. They've got tricks, but we had to go at it.
Oh, well, people go to school for this kind of stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
you can get a degree in this. Well, it's just funny because this video show is only a couple of months old,
Hmm.
and I had to learn all of it myself because eventually, if the show gets big enough, I'll hire somebody to do the editing. But right now,
Yeah, me too.
I'm doing it myself. Okay, so I
Yeah.
had to learn the software,
Hmm.
and it took me 2 weeks of 12 hours a day to learn the software, to get the lighting right, because I would do test shoots and I'd be up, nope, that didn't work. The green screen is up, and once I got it set, I wrote everything down
Yeah, well,
and
that's good.
all the settings, and then
Yeah,
because you couldn't just use the presets, it just didn't work. So I
sure.
had to do it like one by one by one until I could get it to where it looked right. And that was a big learning experience.
It can be time consuming, and there's a little bit of a rabbit hole to it because you just want to make one small change and kind of find your way to the next one.
It is like recording music too, because people have
Yeah.
said I'm much more familiar with audio mixing. But
Uh-huh.
it is when you do audio mixing, you never want to move the equalizer much. If you start making
Sure.
huge moves on it, it screws everything else up.
Yeah, I imagine.
And yeah, it just so you learn from that. And video seems to be the same way.
Hmm.
So I definitely
Absolutely.
have
But yeah,
definitely have
we're
learned that.
always looking forward to that support staff one day.
Yeah, one day. Hopefully they'll get cheaper. But
Yeah.
anyways, well, listen, thank you for coming on the show. We got to wrap this up. Nice video. Good job. And best of luck with it. I hope it does well.
Thank you. Have a good one. Appreciate you having us on.